Busy week for West Ham as the club have confirmed various departures from the coaching team as well as the recruitment team, including the likes of Rob Newman, Kevin Nolan and David Moyes Jr. Tomorrow we will have Lopetegui announced as West Ham manager, and today the new gaffer will sit down with Tim Steidten and what's left of the recruitment team to have a look ahead of the summer transfer window. However, it's not to begin planning for the summer transfer window because that is well and truly underway as two signings are close according to ExWHUEmployee. We'll be discussing all the latest rumours, including those two new potential signings today, right here in the West Ham Transfer Rumours Show. But while you're here, please do subscribe if you're new around here. About 30% of people watching this video are yet to subscribe to Hammers Chat, so let's get that number a little bit lower and get subscribing. See if we can hit 40,000 before the new season. Yes, I know it's a long way off, but we need a little bit of time to get 40,000, so get subscribing. But also please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Helps out the video, helps out the channel, it makes me very happy. But first, despite two signings being close, I'll give you a clue as to why I'm not discussing them first. I don't really know much about them, but I do know a lot about one person we've been linked to yesterday, and it caught my attention quite a lot because Knees Up Mother Brown have stated that we've inquired about Crystal Palace centre-back Marc Guéhi. Now, there's a credible source with Knees Up Mother Brown, and they refers to the Zaha transfer rumour that came out a few months ago and back in the January transfer window as well. But I find it hard to get my hopes up for this one. It's not that I don't believe we've inquired for him. I just don't believe that we'll get him, but also afford him. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because the value I'm going to spit out here is just what I think he might be worth / might go for if he was to be sold. Crystal Palace fans are going to say I'm undervaluing him and get annoyed with me. And anybody that's not a Crystal Palace fan is probably a way to say I'm overvaluing him and get annoyed with me. So I can't really win. But this is, I reckon he's worth about 50, 55 million-ish. I think it's thereabout his work. Maybe even a bit more. I think he's a top class centre-back. I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. He's also homegrown as well. He's a really good age. He's got great experience. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I would love him at West Ham next season. But like I said, I'm not sure we get him. I think he's going to go to, when he leaves Crystal Palace, which I feel is inevitable. It might not be this summer transfer window. I think it might be next one. But I think when he does go, I think it'll be to a side playing Champions League football. Truth be told, I think Liverpool should be going for him. I think Liverpool need a centre-back. I think he's one of the best in the country that's not already at the likes of Man City. But he's a fantastic ball-playing centre-back. He's really good in the air. He's just got everything you need for a defender. And if West Ham made him the main summer signing this transfer window, you'd have no complaints from me. My only concern would be, it's a lot of money, you know, assuming I'm right with 55 million or thereabouts, it's a lot of transfer money to spend on just one player that's not an attacking player. We tend to spend more on attacking player, not just West Ham. All clubs tend to spend more money on the attacking side of the game. But I think Marc Guéhi is a top talent. I think, you know, Crystal Palace are obviously onto good things at the minute, and they're going to have a little bit of a tough time keeping all their players this summer. But the thing is, Palace could sell one and still have a really good core next season and use that money wisely to improve the squad. They coped fine without him at the end of the season. He wasn't available. Anderson was there quite often in the back three with Klein or Richards. They were fine. They were absolutely fine, Crystal Palace. So with Marc Guéhi back, you'd imagine they'll be even better. But I would absolutely love him in the Claret and Blue next season. I just struggle to see it happening. Now, moving on to somebody we've been linked with for what feels like nearly the entire season, and that is Serhou Guirassy of Stuttgart. He ended up finishing the season with 28 goals in 28 games, so he had an incredible season. There was a concern that it was a bit purple patchy when we were going into the January transfer window. He'd had a sensational first half of the season, but throughout his career, he's not always been the most prolific goal scorer. So it was all at the start of the season, after halfway through the season, almost like this is his best campaign so far. So is it just a bit of a purple patch? Well, the answer is no, because he went on to do it in the second half of the season as well. Stuttgart ended up finishing second in the Bundesliga. Harry Kane can't even win the Super Cup now. So he's still going to have an even longer wait for his first trophy if he ever wins one as a player. Assuming, of course, this is a bit ignorant of me. Assuming, of course, England don't win the Euros, but even then, that's with country, not club. Regardless, in terms of Guirassy, listen, we all want to see younger players coming to the club. We want to see the age average age of the squad come down a little bit, and I'm all for that, and I think that's important, and I think there's areas of the squad that can do that. In terms of the striker, as much as I'm keen for a younger profile striker to come in, I do think it's important we get someone in that's capable of becoming our first choice striker just like that. And it's not to dismiss Michail Antonio. I'm looking forward to Antonio next season where he doesn't have to start games, because I felt last season, towards the end of it, he was putting in good performances, but by the hour mark he looked like he was knackered. So he's still got it, he just can't do it over long periods of time. So I want to get somebody in that's capable of going straight into the starting 11, and I think Guirassy does that. 15 million as well. 15 million. This is important. This is value for money. Despite his age, I think he's still really good value. And it's not like he's guaranteed to work out, but at 15 million, this is punt money for Premier League football clubs now. 50 million is punt money. A few million more than what Danny Ings was. And you're getting one of the best goal scorers of European football for the season that's just passed. We know what he can do. He's tall. I think he's strong. He's fantastic. I think his runs are brilliant. He's not the quickest striker in the world in terms of pace, but I think because of the way he plays, he uses the space really well, plays off the shoulder of the defenders when he needs to, and he's quite clinical. I think he's quite quick at shooting as well. When he's not quite shoot on sight, but often, if it lands with him outside the 18 yard or inside the 18 yard, he takes his shot on early doors if he can. He's a striker I really like, and I would love to see him at the London Stadium next season. While I think Marc Guéhi might be a bit too expensive, that's not applicable here. I think 15 million for a striker that hopefully can become your main guy for 2 or 3 seasons, that's really good value for money. And I know you might say, well, what, for 3 seasons? But Calvin Phillips' low move didn't work out, but it's not just the Calvin Phillips low move, it's any low move from Premier League club to Premier League club, or if you're bringing in somebody from a top European club, you tend to pay 3-4 million in just the loan fee. Just the loan fee. So 50 million for somebody for 3-4 seasons, I think it's a bargain, especially, I'm not going to say he guarantees goals. I'd be surprised if he didn't score goals at West Ham though. So I actually hope both transfer rumours so far are true, and they've sort of been labelled as the top targets. Well, not the Guehi one, but the Guirassy one's been labelled as the top target for Lopetegui and Steidten. Listen, Steidten and his mates like data. This guy's ticking the boxes, and from a statistics point of view, big yes from Gio. Right, moving on to somebody I really do not want to see. We've been linked with him. I'm surprised by the link. I don't believe the link, and I don't want to believe the link. I do not want to see this guy at West Ham next season. Before we do, last week we spoke about Manscaped from a Father's Day perspective, and it was about how you could buy something for your old man. You said, listen, don't get him a pube trimmer unless he's still out there feeding the pony. He's probably not going to want the pube trimmer, right? But today's message is for the partners of you. So if you've got little children, as in age, not old enough, but they've got height deficiency, like Gonzo. Gonzo's he's little, but he's old enough to buy his own present for his father. But for those who have a partner that'll be buying them a Father's Day present, this is for you. I want you to pass your phone to your partner, or send them a link and say skip to this time and just listen to what he's got to say, because this is a message for them. Are you looking for a present for your other half to celebrate Father's Day? Excellent. Well, we here at Hammers Chat, we're a way to treat you so you can treat them. We're going to give you a saving of 20% off everything at Manscaped so you can save so they go shave. It's got everything that the male needs for grooming, whether it be nail clippers, whether it be cologne, whether it be getting rid of hairs on their beard, on their face, in their ears, up their nose, or on their ball sack. It does everything over at Manscaped. If you use the code HammersChat20, all one big word, no spaces, HammersChat20, you'll get 20% off everything, plus free shipping worldwide. It comes straight to you. Plenty time for Father's Day. He's happy, plus I can promise you, if he uses the tools correctly, and he should do, it's hard not to, you'll be happy as well, because cut the grass, the tree looks bigger. So, ladies and gentlemen, HammersChat20, get 20% off everything at Manscaped. Links in the description below. Right then, the player I really don't want, or should I say the goalkeeper I really don't want. I don't get this transfer rumour. Sometimes you see us linked to a player and you just dismiss it a little bit. And I've done it with this. But the transfer rumour show isn't for me to say, to tell you only the ones that I like. I've got to tell you the ones I don't like as well. That's the point of it. I collate the rumours for you. Wes Foderingham. He was a Sheffield United goalkeeper last season. He's leaving this summer on a free transfer. His contract's expired. They're not renewing it. 33 years old, and I'm going to tell you this now. I thought last season he was at best the second worst goalkeeper in the league. You can argue between yourselves whether it's him or James Trafford, but it's one of the two of them anyway. Personally, I'd have Foderingham last. I thought he was absolutely crap, and I know Sheffield United had their defence had more holes than a sieve. It doesn't matter. Some of the goals he conceded were down to poor goalkeeping. I don't want him anywhere near this club. I don't get the rumour. I don't believe the rumour. We've got Ariel and Fabianski next season. We might have a Nang. Trott's got a weird situation going on. I'll tell you the Nathan Trott situation at the end of the show, because it's not that big, but it's obviously a West Ham player, and it's just lack of clarity perhaps. But anyway, we're being linked to Foderingham. The two players that ExWHUEmployee said were close to signing, it's over on the West Ham way if you want to go check it out. By the way, for those that haven't been here in January or last summer, what I do when I do the Transfer Rumour show is in the description below, I put a link to all the players I mention. I put a link to their transfer market profile. Partly because I butcher pronunciation when it comes to some names, maybe not so much today, but certainly in previous episodes and future episodes, there'll be players I don't know how to say their name, and also plenty of players, and there's some of these here, I've just never heard of, so I can't really tell you much. So the link to their profiles is below, so you can go check them out yourself. But he has said that we're close to signing, or maybe expect the first two signings for West Ham in the summer transfer window. First of all, to be Wesley. We've covered him a lot. We've been linked to him for a considerable period of time because of Rob Newman, who we've just sacked this week. So basically, Rob, thanks for setting up the scouting in Brazil. Now piss off, and we're going to go sign somebody off the back of your hard work, and then we're going to get the plaudits for it. This is Tim Steidten, by the way. I guess I needed a scarf. This is Tim Steidten. Thanks, Rob. I'm going to take the plaudits for you. So we've been linked to Wesley, right-footed, left-sided forward, 19-year-old Brazilian who looks good. He looks good. I'm reasonably excited for it. It's definitely a position I would like to see us recruiting. And the subscribers of Hammers Chat have got me a little bit excited because there's a lot of hype around him. I must admit, I've seen him play for 30 seconds. It's only because I've seen a clip on social media by mistake and I watched it rather than scrolling past him. It was a fantastic goal a few weeks ago. I know nothing about him, but I know even less about the next centre-back. Now, the funny thing is, next centre-back, I've given it away here, haven't I? It's Bruno Fabricio. He's a 28-year-old centre-back from Flamengo, also Brazilian. Now, I've actually seen him play, and there's a good chance you have seen him play as well, perhaps without realising it, because he played against England just a couple of months ago. So if you watch Brazil-England friendly, that one that Lucas Paqueta should have been sent off in after just running around kicking people for a large period of the game. That game, he played in it. I can't tell you anything. I don't remember him playing in it, but he did. According to ExWHUEmployee, I didn't fact check it. I just trusted X with that part of it. Moving on to the next player we have is Armand Lorienti, who plays for Sassuolo, who's been relegated from the top division in Italy. 25-year-old, right-footed left winger, a bit like Wesley. So to sign both would be a bit surprising, perhaps. I'm not saying we don't need to. Would be surprised we brought in two players with similar profiles and can play that position. Although I'm not against it, I think we do need competition out for that position because we've had none of it so far. We don't even have one to play. Well, you could argue Cornet should be playing there. Paqueta has been playing there. James Ward-Prowse has had a shot out there. Caduce has played there. But do you want to see any of them play there next season? I'd imagine the answer is no for a lot of people. But 5 goals and 6 assists in 36 games in the top flight of Italian football for him this season, and I've never heard of him. So if you know who Armand Lorienti is, feel free to get involved in the comments below. Moving on to the next one, by the way, Spurs are also linked to him. Moving on to the next one is Raul Bellanova, who plays for Torino, who's a right midfielder, can also play right wing back. 24 years old, he's just turned 24 as well. He's also been linked to Aston Villa and Man United. I think he's got 1 goal and 4 assists this season, so nothing too special. But I'm not going to judge him on that because I know nothing about him, so I can't I don't know if he plays in a team and a position and a system that should see him scoring goals. A bit like a Bowen. You expect Bowen to score goals and get assists because of how West Ham play. But perhaps that expectation wasn't there for, say, Pablo Fornals, because perhaps the way we played didn't suit him, and what we requested from Fornals didn't allow him to flourish going forward. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully some of you do. And right then, Nathan Trott. So the deal with him, and this is why it's a little bit confusing. So his contract was due to expire this summer. He spoke a couple of months ago. He's been out on loan. He's done very well over there, and he's earned a lot of plaudits. And he spoke about it, and he basically said, my contract's coming to an end, but there's a clause in my contract that West Ham have got. I don't know if they're going to trigger it. What's happening, I don't know. Trott just did not know. Now, there's been no official announcement. However, there's been reports from places that I don't know if they're good or not, basically. Listen, they're not rubbish ones like caught offside where you just dismiss it, right? And it's not good ones like The Athletic. It's ones I don't know where they would say. They did a tier list of sources. They're not on the tier list. They don't exist. However, on Transfer Market, his contract has been updated to suggest that we've extended it by 2 years till the summer 2026, which fits in with the clause that is in Trott's contract. However, the report also states that doesn't mean he's staying at West Ham, and that we might actually just be selling him. I mean, we've just triggered a clause so that we can then sell him for a little bit of money, because he's now mid-20s. He's got a decent bit of experience behind him for a goalkeeper. Rave reviews. And I hope we do keep him or Inang around. Both contracts were due to expire this summer, but they're both homegrown. And I would like to see at least one of them be the third choice keeper, not Wes Foderingham. One of them to be the third choice next season, with the view of potentially replacing Fabianski next summer. Because this is why we signed Foderingham, who's 33. You know he's going to be here for another few seasons, and it might be Fabianski's replacement. It could be good business by the club. I don't think it will, because he's not a good enough goalkeeper. But what I always say, and I stick with this, is every summer, if all you're looking for is a backup goalkeeper, there's always capable free ones. Every single... I mean, David De Gea's stuff... I don't know how. I've never been De Gea's biggest fan, right? But he's still a free agent. He's better than Foderingham. I'd rather have him. So we don't need to get that Sheffield United keeper in. I'm hoping Trott or Nang is at West Ham next season, with the view of potentially replacing Fabianski next summer and becoming the backup goalkeeper. But even if that doesn't work, fine. There will be a freebie next summer that's better than Wes Foderingham right now. I don't know who, off the top of my head. I don't know what the contract situations is with goalkeepers of other clubs. But you get it. You'll see next summer. There'll be plenty of free goalkeepers. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and disappear. Hopefully you've handed your phone back to your loved one so he or she can watch the rest of the Transfer Rumours show. But get your Manscaped item, links in the description below. HammerShat20 to save 20% off and free shipping worldwide. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it. If you've heard of any of the players I've mentioned and you want to give your opinion, please do in the comments below, because I do need to know a little bit about Wesley, Bruno Fabricio, Amad Loriente and Raul Bellanova. Basically, 6 rumours today. 7, including Foderingham. I've heard of 3 of them. 4, I don't know. So get your thoughts in below. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.